That's right back, Charlie. Definitely.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on.
You always use that active red light defending. I think it's like you always use that active red light defending. I think it's like you always use that active red light defending. I think it's like you always use that active red light defending. I think it's like
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on.
Thank you very much for that, Ian. Right, I can take it from here. People deluded, I'm back again. First things first, I hope you and your loved ones are in good health. As usual, depending on where you are in this world, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night. Appreciate all of you lot tuned in. Twitch gang, one love. Make sure you're following with Amazon Prime and following on Twitch. If you're on YouTube, smash the like button, turn on your notification bells. Don't forget to subscribe and all of that good stuff. Don't forget, people, to get your opinions in, your questions in, your talking points, etc., etc. 7:50 today, we're watching RB Leipzig against Manchester City together across YouTube and Twitch. 4:30 just before that, we're playing Football Manager for my Twitch ones. Appreciative to all of you lot who were part of the Liverpool versus Real Madrid game, people. We watched it together. We saw 7 goals. It was crazy. Vinicius, Benzema, Courtois, and Alisson bugging out. Modric masterclass. You know, Joe Gomez being given the run around, Van Disney moving mad. It was crazy. It was all crazy, people. Smash the like button, as I said. Sources said, DJ, I hope Arsenal took lessons from Real Madrid about playing Liverpool at Anfield. Be a different game when we rock up there, but it shows that, well, Arsenal can as well, but Liverpool can be got at. And, you know, the atmosphere of Anfield is magical and stuff, but it don't matter about atmosphere. You need to go win the game, really. And Real Madrid are mentality monsters, you know. They were 2-0 down. What was the final result? Same thing that if you go and ask, I'm sure Pep Guardiola, Thomas Tuchel at Chelsea at the time, or there's definitely 3 teams they could have went out last season to, and they snatched it all back. That's what Real Madrid are on. Real Madrid were bugging out at the beginning, and obviously Liverpool now got a mountain to climb. They're probably fortunate there's no away goals in the competition anymore. It'd be more than peak. You know, you're chasing basically a 3 goal. You're 3 goals down, 5-2, bottle the 2-goal lead. Then obviously you've got to go to the Bernabeu. It's a myth. And go and play the Luka Modrics, the Benzemas, the Courtois without the mistake and the players they had. Shout out to Camavinga. Would have been lovely having him at the Emirates, man. Where anyone could play for Real Madrid, Camavinga, man. Come and show you're a real guy in the Premier League and come and show you can perform with Eddie Nketiah in front of you. Eddie didn't deserve that. It's all entertainment. Let's activate one love, man. Obviously, throughout the course of this, just actually as we've been online, people, it's come out that Granit Xhaka allegedly is in talks over a new deal. So we're going to see exactly what that's being said. Let me actually make sure I've got all the talking points and all the things we need to. On the topic of like buttons, people, as I said, please smash the like button on the Leipzig versus City watch along. Again, appreciative to all of you lot who were here yesterday in relation to the live stream I did with Fabrice Mwamba. And I'm pretty sure some of you would have seen clips surface online on my YouTube channel, better yet, in relation to that. That is not meant to be my title. 1 second, people. That is meant to be it. Move that. And that is supposed to be it. Bobby's your uncle again. Everything is cushy, everything is blessed. And yeah, man, where was I? Shameless promotion settings is what I was doing. Slapping these like buttons. Don't forget, people, Aston Villa again. Well, no, not Aston Villa. Definitely not Aston Villa. Leicester against Arsenal on Saturday. We'll be watching that. I'm pretty sure I've done the Everton Arsenal stuff as well. Why is it not here? What's going on, YouTube? All right, then. All right. Everything is cushy, everything is blessed. So yeah, we can keep it moving in that regards, people. Obviously, just before we look at the transfer news, people, again, there is some non-transfer related Arsenal stuff coming out, so we might as well look at it and make our random Arsenal news. Let's call it that. Timestamp settings, people. We might as well look at 1-2 things in relation to our football club. So yeah, if I share my screen with you lot, allegedly, first things first, there's been 4 April fixtures moved for TV coverage, people. 4 of our Premier League fixtures in April have been moved for live TV coverage in the UK. First to change is our trip to Anfield to play Liverpool. This has now been moved to Sunday, April the 9th, with a 4:30 kickoff, and will be obviously shown on Sky Sports. However, this fixture is subject to move to Saturday, April the 8th of April at 5:30 if Liverpool are scheduled to play in the Champions League the following Tuesday. Probably don't need to worry about any of that. The following week sees us head across the capital to take on West Ham United, and that game has also been switched to a Sunday with a 2 p.m. kickoff shown live on Sky Sports. Next up, we return to the Emirates to face Southampton, and that fixture has been brought forward to Friday, April the 21st, again for live transmission on Sky Sports at 8 p.m. However, this match will be moved to Sunday, April the 23rd at 7 p.m. should we progress into the quarterfinals of the Europa League or Southampton reach the FA Cup semi-finals. Our visit to Manchester City on Wednesday, April the 26th has been selected for live coverage by BT, but remains on the original date and kickoff at 8 p.m. before we host Chelsea 3 days later, which has now been altered to a 5:30 kickoff start to allow for broadcast by Sky Sports. Meanwhile, all games on the final day of the Premier League season on Sunday, May the 28th, have been moved to 4:30 kickoffs, meaning our game with Wolves will shift 30 minutes from its original start time of 4 p.m. Once again, you can see that all there, folks. In that regards, Thierry Henry, what has he said? Talks Arsenal and what it's like seeing the Emirates rocking again. What has he specifically said? I'll be honest, it brought me back to being a fan because it made me ask myself, how would you react? When you're an athlete or you work on TV, you just roll with it. I used to play, go home, sleep. You don't think about the impact that you have on people. You know about it when you score a goal. We all love it. Everybody jumps. We're all happy again and we share it. But this experience from laughing with a fan, oh, that's not his comments. He then went on to say, I realized the impact when you give people emotions, helping them as they're going through stuff. Sometimes you don't even know it. I don't know what I did that inspired someone. Maybe it's something that I said, the way I look, I don't actually know. But then at that moment, I was like, could that have been you? It was almost impossible to think if Michael Jordan knocked on my door to ask me if I have some water, I'd have been like, what are you doing here? I would have passed out. I was as surprised as they were because I didn't get that opportunity. Sometimes you tend to forget. It's not that you do it on purpose, but you live your life and you tend to forget. He then went on to say, as an Arsenal fan, what you want is, can I relate to my team? Amen. Which Mikel Arteta and everyone connected to the club in the last 18 months, 2 years, or better yet, since Arteta's walked in, we're now win, lose or draw. We're getting that. Can I relate to my team? When I look at that team, I can. As a fan, I feel it. And then are they competing? Yes, they're competing. Sometimes you might go against the better team. Sometimes you might, who's going to win it. But at least we're there. You compete. You go to the game with excitement. The Emirates is rocking again. Do we want to win the league? Hell yeah. But first and foremost, I wanted that fight, that class, that competitiveness, that family, what we were. And now it's back. Feel like crying, man. Is what it is. What is Henry talking about? If you don't know what he's talking about, then ignorance is bliss. On Arsenal's return to being title challengers, he said it took 3 years. This is why it's important also to let a manager put whatever he needs to put in motion, because you can't just arrive somewhere and when you need to change a squad, almost an entire squad, and perform, it's going to take a little while. You have young kids that need to develop. You need to bring players that you would like, get rid of players that are not equipped to play the way you'd like to play or are not going to be good guys in the dressing room, things that we don't see. I think it's important, but it takes 3 years. And now we can judge Mikel Arteta. Is he the guy that can lead us to the title, where it's not me saying, it's not you saying, he's saying it? For now, I know what I'm supporting. For a little while, I was just like, I know I was an Arsenal fan and I would die as an Arsenal fan, but I was missing the why. Why apart from you've got to? And I will always... But now I can stop with people and talk. Yeah, we might not win it, but we are fighting. And that for me is the most important. He then wanted to say, I've been there. You're going to, during the season, have bad games, and it didn't happen for a little while. Yeah, we lost against Man United. We had to draw, and then everything was just like always good during the season. It's not the case. You're going to draw some games. You're not going to win for a week or 2 weeks. It will happen. It's not how you fall. It's how you get back on your feet and how you stand after that, which is fact. He then said, so you lost against Man City. Is it shameful? No, it's not. Was it a decider? It might be. Everyone wanted to see if you could. You didn't. Relax, relax. That doesn't mean you're going to now blow everything away and not keep the ship steady. You have to stay there. Just keep at it until the end of the day. When you look at it, the level of points and defeats, not a lot, yes. We still have a game in hand, but keep calm, keep calm, keep calm. Just believe what you did since the beginning. Now it's a fight. It's always a fight, but now it's a proper fight. He then went on to say, this is quite a good read from Thierry Henry. A lot of people will give the advantage to City because they've been there, because they've done it. I would as well, because they have guys in the team that did it and they know how to suffer. They know how to chase. They know how to be chased. And then he said, but I've seen Leicester win it and no one in that team knew what it was. Bit harsh. So you need to keep on dreaming. You need to keep on believing. We have guys also in the team that have won it. Jesus, Zinchenko. We have guys that have won the title also before in the domestic league. Obviously not in the Prem. We know, but you've got to believe in it, right? If you don't win it, you won't have the experience of winning it. You have to start one day, right? A lot of people were asking questions to City. They answered. Now people are going to ask questions about Arsenal. We have to answer. Fair enough. Fair enough. He said it there, really. Pep Guardiola's doing his mind games, people. Apparently, he tells Arsenal that his resilient Man City side beat them without being who we are. Again, mind games, bare mind games, man. This guy's on mind games. The team is there. I have the feeling maybe we weren't who we are, but we competed really, really well without that. That's impossible to achieve that result. The way we played that game, we had something we normally had in the past, like the resilience. The last game against Nottingham Forest was our high standards. I love the way we played. We didn't win it because it's football. Sometimes it happens. I don't have an answer on what happened for this type of situation. But today we trained and yeah, the team is there. That doesn't mean we're going to win or get results, but I have a good feeling, honestly. Moving away from that, Aaron Ramsdale's revealed how Arsenal squad have tapped into the winning mentality of Zinchenko and Jorginho. There are people which us young boys can tap into their minds. They have won major things. And when we've had a tough week where we've lost, it could be quite easy for some of us young boys to feel nervous. That's probably what it was like in the first 45 minutes, maybe. We just got told to go back to basics, play our game, and that's what happened. It's good for them to get on the score sheet. Alex needed to after the first goal. You see the passion which those two show with only being at the club for a month and 6 months. It shows what group we've got. He, in brackets, Zinchenko, brings a completely different dimension to our team, allows us to play in a way which we want to. He has been there and done it. Fair enough. He then said he's got 4 out of 5 Premier League, so he knows what it takes to win. He has been brilliant. You see the passion he's got. He's only been here a couple of months. He's a huge part of our group. Then Ramsdale went on to say, people, it was a classic for us for the wrong reasons. Take out the first 45 minutes where we didn't perform to the Arsenal team level or a team that is fighting for the league title. The second half we can be proud of, obviously, in relation to Aston Villa. The way we played, the way we raised our level, scored goals, competed for an overall game. It was a great game. But for us in the first 45 minutes, we had lots to improve on. Of course, we are very happy to go back down the road with 3 points. For me, it's probably one of the worst ways we can win, but win because we pride ourselves on defending, keeping clean sheets, and that's from the number 9 to the number 1 and the staff. Of course, it's an amazing, smash the like button, people. It's an amazing feeling. Now we're in the dressing room, but there will be some truth spoke in the week about how we can improve and what we need to do better in the coming weeks. In different games, if we don't show that level of performance in the second half, a 2-0 or 2-1 head start for the opposition team could mean no way back. We don't want to be giving teams head starts. Big up Ramsdale. Told, see no lies there. We used to fight. Jorginho reveals he's changed his mind on an Arsenal teammate. Facts, go back to basics and play the game. Don't get down when you lose. Don't be overconfident when you win. Keep a steady ship, man. Uncle Thierry spitting the realness. Shout out American Gooner. Lateness firmly is greatness. Dermot, appreciate you. Once again, El Nene has signed the contract extension, man. So let's see what Jorginho has said. Jorginho has revealed he has seen a different side of his new teammate Granit Xhaka since joining Arsenal, allegedly. He said, yes, I'm happy. We had a few fights on the pitch before, but outside the pitch, he's a really nice guy. We have good laughs now. He then said, outside the pitch, I asked him the other day where I could go for dinner around here, and he booked me and didn't let me pay. So thanks very much for that. He's a really nice guy, and I'm glad I can see other parts of him. Fair enough. He then went on to speak about his departure from Chelsea, people. He said, It's one of the reasons. Surely he called me and it was all very quick. We made the deal in less than 48 hours. I had spoken to Chelsea and I knew I was no longer part of their plans. I wanted to progress in my career and the Arsenal project suits me. It's a young team that plays good football and fits my characteristics. I considered every scenario and made the decision. Sometimes you must accept when you're out of a project and things come to an end, people. Fair enough, really. That's the realness, really. I think we've seen this already in relation to Jorginho. It's the same comments there, people. Arsenal not yet guaranteed a top 4 finish, insists Thierry Henry. Nothing is set in stone until mathematically. He said, we're not there. I know people will tell me, come on, Thierry. No. When and if we qualify, then we can talk about it. Lovely mentality to have, really and truly. He then said, you could see there was a little disconnection with the fans. All the fans wanted is to relate to the team, a team that can compete. They didn't boo the team on Thursday's defeat. Fans can understand defeat. What fans don't understand is when they don't see a team that fights, they don't see themselves in that team, that don't represent the community. Edu, the board, Mikel Arteta, whoever, however you want to call it, brought that back. Are we going to win the league? I don't know, but it looks like Arsenal, I know. At the end of the day, you can't fool fans. They scream, they're there, and they have that attitude because they see something. That's why they're loud. It's a different emotion. Fair enough, TT. Obviously, we've seen that with Aaron Ramsdale. Arsene Wenger has said, don't let this opportunity pass us by. Father Wenger. What has Granddad said? It was a good feeling to see what is now a happy crowd. The team feels good. I like what I saw and I like what I felt in the dressing room. The spirit of the team is great. The humility, the hunger of the young players is incredible. They are hungry. The usual threats in the Premier League are out of the race. The only threat is Manchester City. I think Man United and Ten Hag will say something different. And even they aren't as dominant as the last year or the 2 years prior. Since the start of the season, City are more vulnerable defensively, which hasn't been the case in recent years. I feel as though you win it when you can. And when you're not worrying about the rest, you let the others talk and you take the title. Fair enough. He then said, their chances won't be more favorable than they are today. Amen, man. If we don't win it now, obviously I'd love to be in this scenario a year from now, but everyone's going to hit back. So don't let this opportunity pass us by. Arsenal have 51 points, which is remarkable after 22 matches. Amen. Fabrizio Romano reveals when potential bombshell Arsenal exit will be decided as Newcastle plans stunning move. This is in relation to Kieran Tierney specifically. He has said Tierney will decide his future at the end of the season. Also, Nuno Tavares on loan is another factor to consider. Arsenal want him to be 100% focused on the second part of the season. They're not in talks with any club now. Shout out to Tierney. What has been said here? Oh, I think we've already seen this by Thierry Henry. Thierry Henry provides Arsenal takeover update as Stan Kroenke makes 330 million transfer commitment. Now, let's see if the headline matches up. Thierry Henry has revealed why he backed Daniel Ek in his takeover battle against the Kroenkes and explained why there hasn't been any development since. Because he got his stock price up, didn't he? And then he cut out, really. He said at the time, Ek wanted to offer a solution to the fans who were all saying sell, but sell to who? We offered a solution. It wasn't meant to be. I'm an Arsenal fan. Let's win. It doesn't matter. We were there to offer a solution. You want it, you don't want it. It doesn't matter. Now everything is okay. Why would anyone want to disrupt anything by changing owners? It's all I wanted, whether it was me in or me out. I wanted Arsenal to be successful. That's the main point. Fair enough. Bukayo Saka, we know he needs protecting. He's kicked from pillar to post every week, people. Let's see this article by, Charles Watts. Is there any statistics to back this up? We all know he's got a target on his back. The refs do need to do more. I haven't got the stats to hand, but there were stats to hand that to yellow cards to fouls, Saka, compared to other players, Saka actually isn't being treated right, people. So I don't think there's anything statistically, and this article seems a bit boring. But nonetheless, it is what it is. Apparently, Rennes' chiefs have spoken on Balogun. What have they said here, people? The president has admitted that it would be impossible for the French outfit to sign Balogun on loan for an additional season. So what does that tell you? He either returns to Arsenal or, forgive me, Reims, but he joins a more competitive team, really. Big up to him for 17 goals, 16 in the league. The chairman has said, I think it's impossible that Balogun will return on loan next season. The rules of the game are very clear. These are boys who, when they join us, know that they are there to reveal themselves, and this is the stage for them. So even if I don't decide for him, either Balogun will return to his club Arsenal to have his chance, or he'll be loaned out again, or even transferred to a very high-level club. He's a player who must go even higher. So obviously we'll ask the question to him, who feels good here and to his club. But I think that today he will have to take a step. We're already working on the future Balogun. The day he will the day will be taken to leave the club. But hey, if he and his club agree to do another year at REIMS, we'll do everything to make it happen. He then also said, what impresses me in this boy, and perhaps the English school, it's that he doesn't stay like a cone in front of goal to push the balls. He works a lot for the team, which is true. And obviously, Arteta has heaps praise on him previously as well. So big up Balogun. We're going to get into the transfer news in just a second, people. Smash the like button and all of that good stuff. But yeah, that's what's being said there. Thanks, Chairman. Speaks on Balogun. Let's slap that in there. What are you lot saying, people? You lot are a bit lackluster today. We got PC Dud. Your PC RAM hates you. Can you close some tabs? Hey man, my PC. Well, I paid for it. It could hate me, man. A yellow card is handed out for every 10 fouls against Saka, but he's given a yellow for every 4.8 fouls he makes. That's the stat. Yeah, Frank, something like that. So statistically, he's being shagged. Send Balogun to Marseille. I mean, Marseille have done quite well with Tavares. You know, Guendouzi went there technically on loan, did well. Obviously, with what they did with Saliba, why not if he feels comfortable in France? For me, I would rather see him in the Premier League, if I'm honest with you. You know, if not that I make any decisions, but I'd hope Arsenal sign a striker that is levels with what we have or better or a different profile. Not that I wouldn't want Balogun to get an opportunity, but you know, you'd have three strikers, Eddie and Nketiah, obviously Balogun and Jesus. New striker Jesus and then Nketiah. I'd love Balogun to go to a Premier League club, show that this season isn't just a purple patch, show that you've arrived. Obviously, him being a young player, he's going to fluctuate really. Not to discredit his loan or anything in France, because big him up, but the French league isn't the best in terms of defending. Every week you watch the highlights, you see some Bandulu stuff, but Balogun's ticking along, built on his experience with Chris Wilder at Middlesbrough, taking the French league by storm, getting more competent, confident and consistent, and hopefully he can take it all in his stride, people. And, you know, in a dream world, returns to Arsenal, becomes the next Haaland boy that kicks on. If not, can we make some top money or can we send him out on loan again? I don't think there should be a snap decision. I do, however, think we need to give my man a new deal. He is contracted until 2025, sorry. It's 2023. He's got age on his side in terms of his age. Let's protect his resale value. I don't want Marseille getting any more of our players with how much that environment seems to disrupt our boys. Guendouzi started it. Tavares started chatting was a bit ago about wanting a permanent move. The Marseille owner was really trying to bait Saliba into speaking out against Arsenal to try and allow a permanent move. I think you're overdoing it a bit, Toby, but I hear it. Could use him for Matoma or McAllister plus cash. I hear that. Let's activate. One love for resubscribing with Amazon Prime, man. I appreciate that. Just seeing that via the Twitch tab. Maybe loan Balogun to a team like Fulham or a newly promoted team next season. I'd hate for him to hold bench next season just because we want to keep him. I mean, obviously he would have to hold bench if he is to get an opportunity. Maybe Mikel Arteta sits there and says, you know what, I'm going to give you the first 6 months. You're going to be involved. Show me in preseason and training. You got till January to show that you can be part of this. Obviously, injuries, loss of form, people coming off the bench and doing well. There's a platform. Maybe he does that. And if Balogun does well in that, then great. He's part of the first team. If not, then we go on loan again. But at the same time, Balogun's an asset and minutes are currency. He's getting more important. He's getting more confident. He's playing. So on one hand, I want him to play games. So if we're not really going to assure him that game time, even though we need a bigger squad, I'd rather him either stay in Reims, go Marseille, like someone said, you know, go to a top division, ideally the Premier League, whether that's Fulham, Brighton, I don't know. Obviously, in the summer or in August, if you was a Prem team, you probably weren't going to bet on Balogun to be your first choice striker. Now you might, because he's hit, you know, double figures in the league. So we just need to keep it ticking over, and not just for Balogun, everyone, you know, even if we don't necessarily make a decision on Tavares, you know, because not everyone can make it here, you know, God forbid, I'd love Balogun to make it, but in an ideal world, if Balogun, Tavares, whoever else is on loan doesn't quite make it, if we could sell them, make decent money, reinvest that into players who are going to make it here, we're doing what we need to do. Now, for me, has to be a European team, not the Prem, in my opinion, but he's going to have to play in the Prem sometime if he's going to play at Arsenal. Why not see him under the microscope? And obviously, for fans, they might calm it down because you're going to see him over 90 minutes on a regular basis. I think Marseille is a good club to send our loanees, proper club with a very demanding fan base. I hear that. What changes would you make to our 25-man squad for next season? I think we need a centre mid or 2 or 3. I would like a striker with a different profile, maybe a Giroud sort, you know, someone like that. I do think we need a right back, and You know, if you could find, with us being on course to get in the Champions League, it's easier said than done. But if you could find a player with a bit of stardust, you know, that Alexis Sanchez sort of stardust, again, easier said than done. Someone that on our worst days can just get us out of jail. These players make the difference. Real Madrid are quality side, take nothing away from it, but they've got players with stardust. Mudryk, Vinicius, Benzema. Again, it's easier said than done. But on top of Madrid having an elite mentality yesterday, they did a madness. You'll never get Rashford. It's cool, man. You know, Arsenal do a lot for charity. We don't need Rashford to go and help kids eat today, man. It's calm. Nuno, I think it's sell time for him. He isn't the level. And not everyone's going to make it, really, you know. We could have maybe got decent money for Nelson. Maybe could have got decent money once upon a time for Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Who knows? I don't blame you for... Where's your comment? Where's your comment, Toby, man? I don't blame you for being overprotective, man. I don't blame you at all. Sorry to say, DG, we're ups now. Man, heck, to get out of here, man. Is there a world where we could try a back three? Zinni look shaky defensively. Could give Tierney some minutes. I mean, Arteta can't rule out anything. While right now, it's a 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3, kind of indirectly free at the back in build-up play. We've got to have many different legs. City have played a back three. They've played wing-backs, traditional full-backs and wing-backs. They played inverted full-backs. We need that. You know, we need different gears. Sometimes you're going to need Tierney and Tomiyasu because it's the trenches. Sometimes it's Benjamin White and Zinchenko with what he's doing. Sometimes Zinchenko might move into midfield. I would, at some point in his Arsenal career, like to see Zinchenko in midfield. I'd also like to see, I think Odegaard's going to be groomed into that Xhaka role long-term. Smith Rowe could be groomed to play in the 8 as well as other roles. Like you see with Foden and Grealish, them man play everywhere. Obviously, right now, Grealish is locked down the left-hand side for City. We need that. United coming for the league. You look, I don't check the league table. If that's what United are doing, cool, man. Camavinga had a really good game. My head was in the clouds when we were briefly linked with a low move for him in Jan. Amen. Most fans won't like this, but I think we should sell Balogun, buyback clause in Tavares. We need to get used to doing proper business in the outgoing departments. I hear that. Wouldn't mind that formation at the Etihad. For me, it's more the mentality. Because, again, we're not City, but to use them as an example, Pep is always going to go forward. So it doesn't matter if they play a back three and things like that. So it's all about the mentality. I'd love a different profile for a striker. Some teams are already starting to suss us out what we're doing this season, i.e. how Everton started a three in midfield, completely taking out Odegaard. We need that tactical versatility. And, you know, again, every team has analytics. You know, you isolate our wing backs. You take advantage of the space we leave with our high line and our midfield in the transition. You know, at current, you know, you put some set pieces into the box. You be physically demanded in midfield. You might get something out of it. Not seen much of, I can't pronounce his name, Hoijlund, DG. What kind of player is he? Can't lie, I like him a lot. 6'2", you know, I wouldn't say he's the next Haaland, but, you know, 6'2", 20 years of age. He gets involved in the build-up play, left-footed from what I can remember, plays with his head up, tries to link up play, scores a variety of goals. I'm all for him, really and truly, from what I've seen of him at Atalanta. They need to bring that Scalvini brother there as well, man. Really. Oh, too, I'm not reading that. I appreciate you for always tuning in, but take a day off from the trolling, man. Come on. Eddie will probably get 50 million combined for Balogun and Tavares. Oh, Lord. What a bandulu that would be, man. We'd be zanging ourselves, wouldn't we, really, if that was the case? You know, 44 likes. Keep rising it up, people. Yeah, definitely need a type of striker, especially over low blocks. And that's the thing on the topic of low blocks. Again, you know that Arsenal are not that I ever want Arsenal to put 20,000 balls into the box, but you need to be able to do that to a degree, especially if we're trying to break down a low block. We don't really have that, man. Always tuning in. I've been here twice, man. Aye, that's great, man. But twice too many. If you want to troll or you don't like, or if you like what you see in here and the conversation, great. If you don't, suck your mum. Simple as that. Please, man. I'm not affected by the trolling and all of this stuff, but come on now, man. It's dead. Like, troll correctly. Said you've been following since December, man. This is the thing about Twitch. You can see things. For someone that says they've been here twice, why have you got 25 comments since the 28th of December? I love how Twitch has receipts, man. Big up to you. If you like what you like, big up you. If not, fuck off. Anyways, away from that, man. I don't know who said Eddie Nketiah is the best in the league. I don't know, man. Stop bringing your little weird conversations from your WhatsApp group over these sides, man. I saw you in stitches with your interview yesterday. Man got jokes. Fabrice is a madness. Man got pressed. Nah, that's your RJ, man. It's just dead bants, bro. Like, I'm clearly not pressed. This is one thing I hate about social media. Someone will make stupid comments. You react, or you give them the 5 minutes of fame. Look, mom, I'm famous. You're rattled. Come on now, man. You must be about 7 years of age, man. Big up you, though, man. Anyways, we need to put our hat in the race for Jude Bellingham. Would be perfect in the Xhaka position. A man could dream. Like you said, we need peas, bro. We need peas. If you ain't got peas, it's a madness. Big up DG. Who is your ideal Xhaka replacement? It would be Bellingham, really. You know, not too sure on the 8, really. More focused on the other side. If you could bring Manu Kone, if you could bring Zubimendi, if you could bring guys of this sort of caliber, why not? DG, who is your favorite non-Arsenal player of all time? R9, Ronaldinho. Without a doubt, man. Without a doubt. There is a certain fullback, but I can't. He's not my guy anymore after what he's facing with the legal issues. Social media literally forces you to be stupid in football because everyone picks their sides and their players they like, and people say outrageous things to bait a reaction. So you have to say something outrageous to counteract. My ball knowledge improved 10 times the second I got off Twitter. Shout out yourself, Badir, as well. Shout out 2-3 and all the YouTube members. And don't forget to subscribe with Amazon Prime. Keep your opinions flowing, people. Without you lot, the platform is dead. Appreciate you lot. What else have we got? But yeah, I would like a different profile. Again, you can never have too much variety. You know, the more meals you can cook, the better chef you are. Again, you know, teams know you set up rigid defensively. We have shown we can break down low blocks, but consistently, I wouldn't say it's a strength of Arsenal's. I'm not saying I ever want us to sign a target man, but if we could have that and be more direct and ask more questions and mix things up, then it'd be lovely, man. Celebration police is crazy. Trolling is good when it's done all right, but if you're going to be goofy and lazy like darling, bro, it's dead. Like, it's proper dead. But he got his 5 seconds of fame. Any news on when Jesus will be back? Not really. I want Camavinga, to be honest. Jude isn't for me. Boy, Bellingham's for me. I'd love Camavinga, but you got to get these guys when they're at Brum or Rennes, or you got to put down the bread. And even if you put down the bread, you're competing with hella people. Slap the likes, people. 138 in the chat and only 60 likes. One love to the 60 of you who have hit that. Let me make sure we're not missing anything where Arsenal is concerned as well. Let's search the net as well, people, once again. Declan Rice stuff. Oh, El Nene. Don't gas me because I want to see El Nene back in the squad because we ain't got no 6s, especially with Partey. You just never know. Keith Hackett has said that Mikel Arteta has damaged Arsenal. Man, shut up, man. Shut up, man. They criticize Arsenal managers for not showing emotion. Mikel Arteta shows emotion. They're onto him. Shut up, man. Just shut up. Honestly, all of you lot, just shut up, man. Right. Nicholas Bentner bedded royalty and was blackmailed into buying a boob job. Right, boy. Yeah, be shout, we went, but you know, obviously with his story about Nicholas Bentner yesterday, Bentner seems to be quite the guy. You and Fabric, I think you mean Fabrice should have a show where you talk football, not just us, all teams and competitions, good content. We'll take that in thingy, man. About to use my Twitch Prime sub on your DG. Moon Fez is the name on there. Danny, appreciate you. No clue what that means, why you named yourself that, but I'll look out for it. I'll take McAllister for the Jacare. I can't lie. I'm on the McAllister thing. I see it, man. Like, I always thought he was a decent player. Before the World Cup, some of you were saying, yeah, he is what it is. I was like, he's a good player. I see the angle now for Brighton and him. I'm having him. He looks like Messi as well. Maybe he can convince the real Messi to join us, man. Low achiever as a troll. I'm mad. The bar's on the floor, bro. Likes, high bills incoming. Appreciate that. Madrid will never sell Camavinga unless he falls out with the manager or they sign another wonder kid in his position. Bro, he's not going anywhere anytime soon, innit? It is what it is, man. He ain't going anywhere any soon. Shut up, Keith. Loved the one pundit who said Martinelli showed disrespect for the celebration. Everyone's showing disrespect. They said Arsenal should be nastier and all of these things. And now that we're nastier, you know, when Rodri was shushing the fans at the Emirates last season, then everybody said it was lovely. And this is the game. And to be honest, who wants to be liked, bro? Like, we like the Invincibles. Were the Invincibles at the time liked? Were any of them Premier League winning Man United sides, Chelsea sides, you know, any side that has won anything? And Madrid necessarily like. You can't be nice in this thing. Who cares? You know, really and truly. Who gives a flying monkeys? And I still think Arsenal could be a lot nastier, especially in-game. You know, I was asking Mikel Arteta, could you have taken a dive when Kevin pushed you? Maybe he gets sent off there. Players, if you see your manager getting pushed again, please make sure Saka's becoming the villain, ready to smack man up and stuff. I'm loving this. I'm here for this. You got to be able to do this. I love for the chair, my guy. Camavinga is at Madrid for the next 7 years at least, but Onana gives me Gilberto Silva vibes. I'm having Onana. Did we not want him when he was at Lille? I don't know why, but yeah. They said Arsenal are soft now. They're mad. Let them talk. Let them talk, man. That's one thing I've loved about the players and Mikel Arteta. Even last season when we lost our first 3 games, let people talk. As long as you know what you're doing in life and what you're trying to achieve. Obviously, everyone can have an opinion. Everyone can criticize and praise where they see fit. But just keep doing what you're doing. You can't live or die by positive or negative opinions. If we bought into the hype in the negative hype first 3 games of last season, we wouldn't have turned last season around up until a point of where we obviously bottled it. If we listen to, the start of the season, it might have been different to when everyone was blowing smoke up Arsenal and saying we're lit. Now they're starting to question our mentality. Now they're back to praising us and things. Just keep going. When we lose, we're not a bad team. When we win, we're not a good team. Let's just level-headed and keep moving. Need more villains. Love a tug 6. We need some villains, man. I need nasty players. I'm not saying necessarily these guys, but I've seen Robertson do some see you next Tuesday stuff. Diego Costa, we need these guys. Vieira was on that as well. Vieira had it all in it. The physical quality, the technical ability, and the nastiness. We need that. I don't want nasty for no reason. There's plenty of them in the Premier League. Like, you got to have some tech. But, yeah, man. I'd rather get Rice and Onana over McAllister because that would sort out our DM centre mid for a decade. Good options, but the Rice and Onana and Odegaard, it's good options, but I think there needs to be a bit more drip there, man. But bring it. We need options, man. In an ideal world, we're probably not going to do it. But if it was up to me, 2 to 3, I think we get 2 players, a 6 and an 8. I would like 3. And then they sign a new deal. There's rumors Granit will be signing a new deal. Obviously, Jorginho's just got in the door. We don't know if Lokonga's going to have a future here or not. I do think Smith Rowe, Odegaard, Zinchenko, they can obviously all play in the 8 at various different terms in their careers. So we need to do this evolution thing. And as much as I like Partey and Xhaka, and I'm not saying get rid of them anytime soon, gradually we need to not move on from them, but like get players who can take their spots and kind of demote them to being rotation options, really. They're not ready for the Saka villain era. Bro, maybe him missing a penalty for England is the best thing that happened, man. He's going to make him a villain, man. He's becoming a villain at some point. I would love Saka. I saw someone tweet it. I would love Saka to be like Mane. You see how Mane was just smiling all the time, but not saying Mane was sinister. He's smiling all the time. You wouldn't think he's like that. But how many times you seen a little elbow or a little stump and things like that by Mane? We got to get with it. It's either we cry or we get with it. Like, in an ideal world, there'd be none of this. Everyone wouldn't be doing it. But it's either we get with it or we keep crying. And no one's going to help us but ourselves. God only helps those who help themselves. We help ourselves. The football gods will shine us. If Xhaka is given a new deal like El Nene, this team is not serious. Bit harsh. Xhaka's contract is running out. Probably loves playing at Arsenal, comfortable with his young family in London, got the faith of Mikel Arteta. Gradually, he needs to be phased out generally. Like, if we had that number 8 where Xhaka plays right now, and Xhaka, is messing about, because really the last 4 games, Xhaka could have been dropped. This is what we need to do, really. There needs to be competition, and there is competition. We're moving in the right direction, but there's obviously a lot more work to do, man. And I'm happy with what we're doing. It just needs to keep going, really. So I would a bit harsh. El Nene's injured, isn't it? He's clearly given that new deal. And allegedly, El Nene's given a new deal and reduced his wages. So fair enough, innit? I don't mind El Nene hanging around like a spare part. There's a lot of games to play. Obviously, in an ideal world, you would love to replace him, but I don't feel El Nene is a terrible player. I don't think he's amazing. I don't think he's terrible. I think what you see is what you get. He can come in and plug a gap. If he's fit right now, obviously excluding Jorginho, and Lokonga's gone on loan, but El Nene works better with Xhaka and Partey than Lokonga. And what you see is what you get with El Nene. And right now, he's the closest thing to a 6 with Thomas Partey. And he'll hang around like a spare part. The League Cup, maybe the early rounds of the FA Cup. Obviously, Champions League, El Nene is good for a banger at the Nou Camp. You never know, man. We could do a lot worse than hang on to El Nene. And more time, Arteta's probably giving Xhaka, bringing in Jorginho, giving Xhaka a new deal, and El Nene, because obviously I'm probably looking at it a bit too deep, but it's probably a thing where, like Ferguson used to keep people around so they know what it means to play for the club and all of these things. There's probably a lot of dressing room reasons behind that. But obviously we should be aspiring to address our midfield, because I'm not going to lie, big up Arsenal, but enough's enough. This summer, no waiting to the last couple of weeks to get Douglas Luiz, or like you saw in Jam with Moses Caicedo, get these address midfield now, innit? Like, because if we rock up in the Champions League with certain things, boy, because certain things, even some of the times we've won, we've got to be a lot better. Even the Aston Villa game, if you do that against Real Madrid or Saturday, it could get long. Champions League could get very long. We have to go up the levels, man. El Nene is just fine as a reserve. Arsenal not start him anyways. You think there's anyone we could pick up for free this summer? Kamada, Indika, Thuram, Telemans. I mean, Thuram, I'm not really on it. You know, I'm not really on it. If he performs, I'll hold my hands up. You could in theory, but I'm not really on it. Telemans, there seems to be interest, but I've always said, how much do Arsenal really want Yuri Telemans? I think there's an admiration for his talent. I think Arteta messes with him, would love him at the club, but how much do they really want him? Because that one there has been there for time, but he's welcome at the club. Ivan Ndika, we've got a long-lasting interest in him. I don't know with obviously us signing Kirio, who is a left-sided centre-back, what that means. Man said American Gooner is secretly Josh Kroenke. If he is, he needs to let me know, man. Invest in the channel. Hey, American Gooner, one love for gifting out 5 community subs. You don't know what you're missing if you are not on Twitch, people. On that topic as well, don't forget Twitch Gang 4:30. We're playing FM. Where my YouTube ones are concerned, as well as Twitch, we're watching Leipzig City today. We're watching Man United versus Barcelona tomorrow. Obviously, Saturday, we're watching Leicester versus Arsenal. Wednesday, we're watching Arsenal versus Everton. You can turn on your notifications, slap your like buttons, and turn on the reminders, people. These will all, I'm pretty sure if you go on my YouTube channel, you'll see all of these things there right now, people. A man said distant cousin. Aye, man. Buy Jude Bellingham, man. Please, just tell your cousin to buy Jude Bellingham. El Nene is on reduced wages from his 50 a week. Sometimes it's good to look after your own and protect his contract. Won't put a dent on the club's finances for the summer and our plans. Again, yeah, man. And that's what Arsenal do. We look after our own, really. I think you could do a lot worse than El Nene. If somebody said, well, El Nene, you're gone. We're bringing in someone better than you. Fair enough. But could do a lot worse with El Nene. Like, I don't think it's that deep, man. Now, out of all the problems Arsenal could have or talking points we could have, you know, I see why people would, you know, playing devil's advocate. Some other fans would say for players, he's comfortable here, picking up a paycheck and things like that. I hear it, but El Nene's comfortable here, doing his coaching badges, loves playing for the club. For me, and Arteta loves him. I love all of that. I hear all of that. But for me, as a fan, I don't really care about none of that. I care about what you do on the pitch. And I think El Nene has something to offer. As I said, and if anyone misunderstands me, you want us to bring in midfielders. El Nene's game time probably should be minimal. But you could do a lot worse than bringing on El Nene trying to close out games or having that option. Because again, I do want Arsenal to kind of be over-prepared when it comes to injuries. As you've seen, we've got depth. But you've seen it already, you know. There's a scope to have 3 strikers in this squad, you know. Nketiah's getting his run out, looking a bit knackered. Jesus is injured. There could have been room for a next striker. There's room for a next winger. There's defo room for another centre mid. You know, some Arsenal fans said don't sign Odegaard because we got Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe's had a terrible time with injuries. Obviously, early in his Arsenal career, we've seen Martinelli have to nurse and come back from a mad injury as well. Obviously, Thomas Partey is currently injured at the moment. You need a squad. How much you seeking for investment in your channel? Let's talk some thousands, mate. How much, you know, put blank check, man. Blank check. Plus a signing on fee for the. I don't see a rollie on the wrist as well. Little present in that. Now I'm playing, man. Keep your thoughts coming, people. What other thoughts are there? I don't want to miss out anybody. Shout out Moon Fez, aka Danny. What a guy. But yeah, man, we are going to get into that scenario where obviously I don't want to say we can't sign Jude Bellingham, but it's very unlikely. Camavinga is a myth. But Arsenal will probably get into that scenario now where the more we keep looking after our squad, the margins for improvement kind of become less. So we are going to have to go and find, like when we signed Santi, when we signed Alexis, when we signed Ozil, them kind of curtain raisers. Obviously, Jesus and Zinchenko in their own ways were that. But yeah, man, it is what it is. What does that mean, American Goon? I don't want to put that on screen. What is that? I don't know what that means, man. I don't want to look stupid. I don't know what that means, my guy. Sorry, people, this coffee's getting cold. Oh. That was horrible. What do you think about letting Tierney go this summer if he wants to leave? If he wants to leave, you don't want unhappy players, innit? So he's free to leave. I don't think Arsenal will force Tierney out, as I've said before. Yeah, I don't think we'll force Tierney out. If he says, you know what, Newcastle is closer to Scotland, You know, I like the cold weather. Eddie Howe's going to play me a lot more. Cool, you can go in it. Why I wouldn't want to is because he signed him for 25 million or something, and there's a sell-on clause to Celtic. You sell him for 30 million, not really making that much bread. Newcastle are developing a great project, so indirectly they're rivals now. So do you really want to strengthen a rival? Do you really want to cut a discount for a rival? And that money is probably, unless you know the next fullback that's there for cheaper, gonna have to spend that again. And obviously, Tierney is a valued member of the squad. Naturally, he's become demoted because of what Zinchenko brings to the table, but there's enough games for him. How do you do that, American Guna, though? Madrid fan here. If Camavinga was able to be loaned out, I'd love for him to go to Arsenal for development and time. Big up as usual, big man. Please commit one love. I'm not going to lie to you, though, man. I don't want Camavinga on loan. I want him permanently, man. You can't bring Camavinga on loan, let us see him for 6 months, a year, what he brings, playing at the carpet, being French, and then take him away, man. Like, we need him permanently, man. We need Carlo to do the madness like when you sold Ozil. Hopefully one day, you know, Real Madrid look after us. Shout out to Danny Ceballos off topic, you know. Shout out to Danny Ceballos off topic. I've seen that he's played 100 times for Real Madrid yesterday after coming off the bench, and you know, obviously he won the FA Cup here and spent time here, and he's gone back to Madrid. So technically, I'm claiming that as Arsenal are in the Champions League. Arsenal beat Liverpool at Anfield this season. Bro, robbed REIMS, Renz. The one I'm vexed about, Camavinga, yeah, because that could have been done. The one for me, I think Camavinga is better, but the one for me would be Tchouaméni, because I fell in love with that player when I saw him at Bordeaux. Then I think he's done everything well. He went Monaco after that. Obviously, the way the game is now, it's mad money for these players, even though they're not worth it at the time. Tchouaméni was the one, man. He was there. He was there. Camavinga, probably from 16, 17, has been there. We need to go to France. Fofana as well, who's now at Chelsea. Yeah, American, get him to do that, man. Teeny goes nowhere unless he wants to, and we need 40 M's. Amen, social joins. I like that. Again, like you said it, Teeny, there's game time here. And what I would say to Teeny, you're very professional. You've been at Celtic. Initially, you weren't always starting for Celtic. Even if you go and look at his development, he says even in the youth side, I weren't playing. If we want to be a competitive side, then sometimes you're rightly or wrongly, you're going to fall on the opposite side, isn't it? Where you're not playing. I don't want Teeny or anyone who's not playing to be unhappy, but this is what comes with it, really, really and truly. You think everyone at City is happy? You think Pep has, Pep's probably even losing more hair on his head, keep trying to keep everyone assured. But this is what comes with it. Right now, Zinchenko's the guy. There might be a time where, God forbid, but Zinchenko isn't playing well enough to the point where Arteta doesn't care about what he does in the false centre mid position. Tierney comes in and does the trenches stuff, really. You know, a couple of weeks ago, obviously for me, I've always said the minute Jesus is fit, unfortunately, Eddie, he's back to the bench, my guy. But a few weeks ago, you could have made, to play devil's advocate, you could have sat there and said, boy, maybe Jesus doesn't necessarily walk back into the team. Obviously, Martinelli came off the bench in the last game and impacted the game greatly. But since Smith Rowe's been injured since the summer, Martinelli's taken that spot and ran with it. The only one that ain't really got any real competition is Bukayo Saka. It's a shame that even Reece Nelson got injured, because he looked like them little 2 goals against Nottingham Forest and the assist technically, that was going to give him a spring in his step. Out of everyone, I would love Nelson to get a new deal, man. But realistically, it's probably the beginning of the end. Ceballos has been balling recently. He must fight for his place. Everyone's got to fight, bro. Like Tomiyasu as well. I think Tomiyasu handles it the right way. You was one of the first names on the team sheet. Benjamin White's moved over to right back because at this moment in time, Gabriel and Saliba are seen as the guys. Make yourself versatile or give the manager no reason to drop you. Again, if we want to do this, everyone gets the amount of game time. They've got to go play Sunday League. If life was fair, we'd all have a lot less. We all have a lot less. If there's 10 people, if you've got one burger and there's 10 people and you cut it down, fair would be everybody gets a little piece in it. That ain't going to make you, you're not going to be full, are you? This is football. Like, we're not here to, as much as I like the togetherness of the football club and things, and I'm talking in the premises of competition. We're not here to be friends, We're here to win things. We're here to win football matches. Arteta is not in the job because he's a nice guy and all of these sort of things. That's just an added bonus. You're there because we think you're the man to keep this ship going. So, rightly or wrongly, he's got to play the right players that are part of the system. And obviously, when you look at game management, Tierney, Tomiyasu, El Nene, when fit, these guys coming off the bench to kind of see out games, they help us. You can never have, you can have too many options. Look at Chelsea and Graham Potter. But you get the point. One love for the super chat, my guy. Pep should be sacked if United win the title, bro. Boy, I mean, Pep should be sacked anyways. Really, you know, it'll. I think everyone will cheer in the Prem. Really, Pep has been bad news for the Premier League unless you're a Manchester City fan. Obviously, from a neutral point of view, he's a legend in it already, and he's a legend already, or again in the Prem. But yeah, Pep, could you go? Like, could you go? Could City go through their transitional teething problems like Chelsea? I want every team to, apart from Arsenal, to kind of be moving like how they're moving this season. If I'm completely honest with you, but it's not going to happen, innit? Arsenal thoughts. If Real Madrid get Jude, they might be open to selling Camavinga. I can see it. They might. You never know, but they'd be smoking something special. You've got Jude Bellingham, Tchouaméni, Valverde, Camavinga. Obviously, that's 4 centre mids. Real Madrid playing at least, I don't even know how the La Liga works, but there's at least 2 cup competitions. You've got the champs and you've got the league. So it makes sense. Really, really and truly. It wouldn't make sense to sell them, really, you know. And they're probably Toni Kroos, Modric, as well. Modric is a baller in it, but at some point, every dog has their day. Life catches up with everyone. You can kind of see it with Toni Kroos now that he's still a baller, but you're getting a bit old. That's gonna happen. Modric, Kroos are gonna be phased out. Then these guys, really, really and truly. Why? Please shout this email address, please, in relation to that comment. Listen, the era of players playing all games isn't realistic. If you play for a big club competing for 4 comps, 25 games is realistic, or you end up injured and burnt out. See Liverpool. There you have it. You know what? The person who's probably got the most game time now is Bukayo Saka. Obviously, he's deserved it, but there might come a reality where there's a next Bukayo Saka or a next winger that, you know, in an ideal world, Saka could have a break, really, and whatnot. Perez would be smoking rocks to not let Modric and Kroos retire to fit Tchouaméni, Camavinga and Bellingham in. But I can't lie. I think the most assuming Bellingham signs for Real Madrid, I think the most underrated midfielder at Real Madrid is Valverde. You know, I really think he's underrated. I think obviously everyone can see my man's got an engine. You know, I think he's got the potential to be their captain, and that's the one I wish Arsenal had. You know, a bit like Yaya Toure. He actually had a trial at Arsenal before a work permit shagged him, smashed the like button. Valverde's obviously scoring a lot of goals, but I think, and I don't know how many assists he's got or gets, but I wouldn't have him as a player that typically gets that. And he had a wobble at this season, but when you look at some of his assists, like I'm sure last season for Vinicius in the champs, his final delivery is effing amazing, bro. Valverde is serious. That skill set is what I want at the Emirates. Maybe not the blonde hair, but yeah, man. Valverde is a madness, and I mean he's gonna be underrated, isn't it? Really, because Camavinga's got the guile. Jude Bellingham would be Jude Bellingham. Tchouaméni's going to get his love. Naturally, Valverde would be underrated. And he's developing. He's added goals to his game. Carlo told you, listen, I'm going to retire if you don't get 10 goals. He swear he got that. I'm fine with Valverde staying at Real Madrid at right wing or dropping to right back. His pressing is insane. He was a monster against Liverpool yesterday. Amen. If they get Jude, surely one of the 4 centre mids will move on. Yeah, they'll probably fake, like Kroos will probably hold bench. Will Arsenal still go for Caicedo and Rice at the end of the season? These young players are needed in our midfield for the Champions League. Could you say more experienced players are needed? I don't know, but I hope it's not, but I personally think the Caicedo thing is done now. I think maybe if it could be, I think we'll go as far as we can for Declan Rice. Whether that happens is another thing. Bro, you know Valverde is good. You know, I don't normally praise players for just running around, and not that he does that, but you know you're good if people say your engine is insane and you're doing more than that. It's crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. But dear, appreciate you for the super chat, my guy. Every little helps. One love for you, lot support, man. Means a lot. Valverde is the main player in Madrid. He's insane. He's insane, man. Madrid might let Valverde go if a bid is put in, especially if they get Bellingham. Maybe, and you know, you can never. Sometimes clubs do crazy things. But someone would have to get, in my opinion, someone should be sacked at Real Madrid if they let Valverde go. And he's getting back to his best, because I'm sure it looked like he was feeling a bit sorry for himself post World Cup. His performances were a bit flat. Obviously, for everyone connected to Uruguay, it was a disappointing World Cup. And I think he even spoke about how mentally it was difficult to get over. Yeah, to go back to your question with Rice, I think we go all we can for Rice. I think the Caicedo thing with Brighton is done, really. I hope not. But yeah, pardon me. On one hand, surely Caicedo could be available for slightly less as well than they were saying in Jan. Well, they weren't. Pardon me, they weren't trying to sell Donny in January anyways, innit? So it is what it is in that regards. Real Madrid might let go. Oh, I've already seen that. What else have we got? What else have we got? Need competition and earning the right to start. Tini and Tomiyasu be great when leading. And they've got different strengths. As we said, some games you might just need trenches. Some games we need a lot more on the ball. As we become a team that's a lot more, not that we haven't been that, but that kind of sets the tone of games a lot more and is the more the dominant side. I can see why Mikel Arteta would want Zinchenko, because we need a lot more on the ball and things. And to be fair to Tini, you know, obviously Zinchenko might move back into midfield, but Zinchenko was a centre mid playing at left back. He's got more gears to his game. Tini is just a traditional left back there for the trenches. You know, maybe if we had a target man, Tini could scumbag some assists as well, really. But it is what it is. Do you believe that we have real money to spend 80 million on Declan Rice, and another 20 here and there isn't enough to push on and be competitive on all fronts? We're not going to be competitive on all fronts overnight. And this is why we need to do better at selling players, especially guys from the academy. Like, you know, what we could have got for Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Obviously, we got a good fee for Martinez, but seeing what he's doing and whatnot. So we'll have to see, man. But again, we're going to need to, because even if you spend 75, 80, 90, 100 on Declan Rice, that doesn't fix all our problems, because you still need an 8. I'm sure Mikel Arteta wants a right back in any other areas, you know. And before any of that, we still have to get some players off the books, really. We not that anyone needs to be sold, but you're going to have to make a decision on what you're going to do with Balogun in the medium to long term. Tavares, you know, if someone puts an offer on the table, Marseille, do you say, you know what, nip that in the bud? Lokonga, what are we saying? Technically, you know, we hope Monza stay up in Serie A, because Pablo Mari's loan becomes an obligation. If not, that's something. Cedric's at Fulham on 100 bags a week. Are they going to keep him? If not, we're going to have to deal with that. And he has a year on his deal. So that's 100 bags on our third choice right back, arguably. Pepe, contracted for another year until 2024. Going to have to deal with that. Pepe's got to be one of our at least top 5 highest earners at Arsenal Football Club. I don't know about now, but he's got to be there. So we're going to need to pattern the resources of this football club. And long term, we need to get better at selling. Do you think Patino can play Regista like Jorginho? Yeah, but my man needs to develop, man. I'm already tired of hearing about decline Rice. A bit harsh, man. I like Rice. What's Arsenal's signing plan for the summer? Our squad depth needs to be improved, especially in the Champions League. I don't have a clue, Yomi, but I would say it has to be centered around central midfield. You've got Edu and Arteta, who were central midfielders at different periods at Arsenal. You can see why in the present day, you know, the game's won and lost in both boxes, but it's a midfield battle. And I don't feel we have enough variety there. And I feel we're never going to see, not that our attackers aren't excelling, but I feel this team is not going to get to the level it can defensively or offensively until we address the middle of the park. DG, what do you think of going for Ward-Prowse if Southampton go down? He's welcome to join the squad, man. Ward-Prowse, set piece FC, English and that. He's welcome. Yeah, we'll get more money, likely to be in the Champions League, more ad revenue, but going to need to sell Pepe, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Cedric. Question on Sambi and Balogun. If we're going to Southampton, we better come back with Lavia. Bring him. But didn't they reject a 50-odd million bid from Chelsea, to be fair? Wasn't it the same window he signed? But yeah, man, Ward-Prowse is a baller. And that free kick is a cheat code, man. Come on, man. It hasn't quite been it of recent, but we were set piece FC. Could you imagine for the set piece staff, you know, planning their set pieces, and you've got Ward-Prowse, you know, who's got a sniper over right foot. He's cold, but with this Hoijlund guy, he's cold, but is Arsenal legitimately interested in him, or is it one where everybody's looking at Atalanta, he's playing well, and they're saying, you know what, let's keep a tab on him because Atalanta got him, you know, the Danish international, for a relative sum, and they're going to make peas, especially if he's sold to the British market, because everyone knows we've got money, and every other of the top five leagues are struggling to the point where La Liga, you know, you got Guillaume Balaguer coming out and saying the Prem should help them. That's a myth, really. But that Hoijlund guy, forgive me for mispronunciation, he's got good general play, decent left foot, doesn't just stand still, you know, pulls into the channels, selfless, you know, scores a variety of goals, 20 years of age. I'm for it, really. Arsenal could do a lot worse, innit? I'd like to see us go back in the Brazilian market. I would as well, man. But then, you know, again, it's got you can go and find a Martinelli, but when you look at it nowadays, this whole potential business of players all around the world is a shake. If you're 16, 17, 18 in Brazil, you play first team, you do a little step over. They're saying new Neymar, and clubs are saying 50 million now. Obviously, Real Madrid didn't spend that, but they signed Vinicius, they signed Rodrigo, and all of these guys. This is the problem we're going against, really. That's just probably like that Victor Road guy who allegedly we're interested in, really. So I'm all for it, man. Go to every emerging market, man. Obviously, work permits and these things there go against us, but I would love Arsenal. Maybe I don't know if it's even possible nowadays, but try and find these players before they become household names. You know, again, some of you have said McAllister, you know what, McAllister, Lavia was at Anderlecht. Obviously, Victor Roeg is there. All half of these guys, Caicedo, who United and Brighton were trying to buy, you know, when he initially. These guys have to come from somewhere. You know, we either put the money down for these players or we find them before they have them outbreaks. Mudryk as well. Brentford were on to him last summer. So when did they come to find out about him? I'd like us to go anywhere. I don't care where in this world you got to go. Just find the right dons for the team. Just remembered Pepe scoring 2 free kicks to save Unai's job. What a night that was. Pepe's gonna be an enigma, man, because I don't know where it actually went wrong for the lad, if I'm completely honest with you. But one thing I would say is I told you lot. 2 players I was right on. I told you lot about Lacazette and I told you lot about Pepe. And people criticized me and said I'm hating. I said I'm not hating. I said Lacazette is not ever going to score 20. You can go and find them videos on YouTube. You know, he's never going to score 20 league goals for this football club. And obviously, the older Lacazette got at Arsenal, the more, in my opinion, he physically declined. Pepe, I told you lot, is Bandulu. He's had good 18 months. There's a lot he needs to learn. And then I was doing videos like, look at what the man's dad is saying. With Pepe, I think it's a mentality thing. And I just don't think in terms of technical ability, there's a lot he could bring to the squad. He's probably one of the most exciting players within Arsenal's team. But I just think you're not consistent enough. You're not trustworthy enough. I do think, you know, over the course of 90 minutes, you're quite frustrating in comparison to the others. And at his best, he's really good. But I think it's a degree of at your worst, really. And obviously, it didn't help. He's had a couple of coaches at Arsenal. And I don't want to say mentality, but he just seems like a cool brother. Like, man, the minute is not necessarily the most galvanized, the most on it all the time and things like that. And he should have never committed the outlay we did. In my opinion, Pepe is weak mentally. He has all the technique and pace, but he struggles mentally. We need to generate 60 to 70 million out of sales minimum. Pepe, Ainsley, Nelson, Tavares, Marie, and Holding. That puts us with enough to spend 200 million in the summer. With Holding, he could leave, but I'm not too sure on the homegrown laws, really. Pepe got the sauce, but he don't care about football like that. Bro, he plays like when you're anyone like myself that lives near a council estate and you go and watch, you know, and you're a bit younger, you know, when you're a little kid and you go and play football in the council estate, and then there's older kids and they're rolling their cannabis and they're trying to play football with you while they got a spliff in their hands, and obviously they're bigger than you and stuff. They're just trying to do skills while all you and your little minion friends are trying to win the ball back. That's how Pepe plays football. Honestly, Pepe plays football like he's on the council estate. He's a lovely person, man, but there's something else to it. Pepe is good on the eye, but he don't play like it's a business. Yeah. It went wrong because he was sulking every game, not putting in work. I think there's there's bare reasons, man. I think Pepe, first things first, in life, anything that goes wrong, you have to look at yourself, innit? But I do think he was a victim of the turbulence. I do think, to a degree, was kind of done dirty. It felt like other players could kind of make mistakes and they wouldn't immediately be out the team. Ultimately, I think it just comes down to, if the manager don't trust you like that, he don't trust you like that. You're just not the guy, innit? And at the time, I don't think he had necessarily a right back next to him and things like that, and things in the squad to make him thrive. But when you start getting into all of that, it's a madness, really. It's a bit like Ozu. We got a striker. He needs a striker. We get the striker. There's no defensive mid. The team needs to do this and that. And a lot of that is true, but actually a nutmeg rush baller. That's it. Like, you wouldn't want to play Pepe in training. He'd embarrass you. I wish we kept Mavropanos. I don't. Well, maybe because we could have made more P's. He's playing like he's trying to protect his... Bro, Pepe plays like that, bro. Like, he plays football like that. Like, he plays football like that. Pepe looks a baller on YouTube. I wouldn't want to play against Pepe. Can embarrass you, but there's got to be more than that to be a professional footballer at this football club on a consistent basis. And then, man, once you get the move to England, London lifestyle, playing for Arsenal, I guess there's a degree of complacency in it, really. But shout out to him, I say that. Man went Nice, in it. So he clearly wanted to go play football of some sorts. It's not the work rate. Pepe's in that Martial, Balotelli, and Anelka settings. I'd remove Anelka a bit because he had a good career in it. But yeah, Pepe will look back and could have offered a lot more. Balogun has to return, sell Nketiah, Nelson, Tavares, and bye. Harsh, man. I wouldn't mind if we got decent fees for both Nketiah and Balogun and spent some of that money on Brighton's Ferguson striker option of his and Jesus' profiles might be the way, to be honest. Brighton be silly to let my man go anytime soon, innit? Don't know how Brighton do it, but they've did it again. 87 likes, people. Were very, very close to 100. With that, let's look at what the transfer news is saying, actually. Let's call it 50. Transfer. Please, let's go over there. Where should we start? Put it over there. Put it over there. Let's start with this, actually, people. Again, smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, people. Again, El Nene recently signed a new deal at Arsenal Football Club. 90 Minute are saying, people, Granit Xhaka holds talks with Arsenal over new contract. Arsenal's vice captain Granit Xhaka is keen to extend his stay at the club, and talks have taken place over a new deal. The Switzerland international has managed to completely turn his Arsenal career around over the last couple of seasons. I'm not going to skip this, man. We all know where we're at with him, people. We all know he didn't go to Hertha Berlin. Apparently, he cemented his status as one of the Premier League midfielders, playing a key role in their surprise PL title charge. And sources have confirmed to 90 Minute that Xhaka wants to extend his stay at the Emirates. I mean, he's got the faith of Mikel Arteta. He's loved by the fans now. He's got a young family. They're comfortable in London. He's 30 years of age now. So this is, now you need to ask yourself, do you want to try a new, do you want to go back to Germany? Do you want to try a new league? He's previously said how he used to watch Italian league when he was young. Do you want to stay at the Emirates, which is fine, really, and get some wages? Which is cool, isn't it? You're a valued member on and off the field. I can't disagree with keeping him and El Nene and Jorginho. But what I would say is we need to find the guy better than Granit Xhaka before, he evidently falls off. Get the likes up, people. The conversion rate is looking shaky. One love for that. But yeah, that's it with Granit Xhaka. Apparently, Arsenal consider monstrous offer for Atalanta striker Rasmus Hoijlund, who 20 years of age, Danish international. Well, he's a decent man. He doesn't stand still. He can hold. He can occupy centre backs. He drifts into the channels. Got a decent left foot on him. Scores a decent amount of goals. From what I've seen of the 20-year-old, I'm on it. But do we legitimately want him, or is because we're looking at a striker, and obviously our scouts should be doing their jobs and being up to date with all the leagues? Has he just flagged up on the radar? But bring him and that centre half Scalvini. But for what it's worth. And I don't really believe any reports out of Italy, but Arsenal are preparing a major offer for Atalanta striker Rasmus Hoijlund, according to reports in Italy. The 20-year-old joined the Serie A side in a 17 million euros brackets 15 million pound deal from Stuttgart last August, and has made an immediate impact during his time in Italy. He's already got 7 goals for Atalanta this season, while he now has 2 caps for Denmark. According to this Italian publication, Arsenal have been keeping tabs on the striker's performances in Serie A this season and are now considering a move for the Denmark international in the summer window. There's reports that Real Madrid president Florentino Perez is also a huge admirer, and the 20-year-old could be viewed as a long-term successor for Karim Benzema. I mean, are you ready for Madrid right now? You see what we're doing with the young players? Come, man. Atalanta remain in a strong negotiating position as they consider Hoijlund a key part of their future plans, while the striker still has 4 years remaining on the contract he signed last summer. So, yeah, people, he said he's got similar characteristics to Haaland. He does loosely, but I'm wary of that, really. He's actually he's relatively quick as well. But, his gaffer has said, Hoijlund has this spirit, energy, and intensity, but also technical quality that is just remarkable. He still has so much margin for improvement, too. He has very similar characteristics to Haaland, not just his face. He's so quick, as I said, DG don't lie to you. I said he's quick. He's so quick. He's under 11 seconds over 100 meters, and that's not even trying very hard. Considering his height, which that's another bonus, he has a low center of gravity, praise his technical level, and can move his legs very fast. I'm convinced he'll have a great career. He just gets stronger every day. Big him up for that. Arsenal are now very likely to sell exceptional player at the end of the season. Sam Preston gassing the thing. But anyways, Nuno Tavares is likely to exit Arsenal permanently during the summer transfer window when his loan at Marseille ends, people. The Sun have reported that the left back is now probably going to be sold by Mikel Arteta when the market resumes at the end of the season. Obviously, Tierney's future is far from certain as well, but I don't think really Tavares should impact it, because until someone can rise up when Tavares has had a great performance defensively for Marseille that stands out as much as when his clips of scoring go viral, it's a myth. We know you used to be a winger. We know you're good going forward, really, but you're not. You can't do what Zinchenko does. You're more wasteful than Tierney. It's a myth, really and truly. But to be fair to him, he has become the first Marseille defender to score 6 goals in a season for 20 years. So hopefully the 23-year-old can convince Arteta and prove me wrong that it could be used here. or we can make some money on that. Sometimes signings go wrong, just make your bread. From one fullback to another, Arsenal ready to battle to sign fantastic player again after trying to get him on deadline day, people. Actually, let's see the actual source of that, because I have got that here. Arsenal prepare. Sorry, people, I don't want this to keep playing, but Arsenal prepared for transfer battle to sign Ivan Fresnadar as Newcastle joined the race. As you know, Dortmund and Arsenal agreed a move for him in January. For some reason or another, he didn't, and his agent has said 30 clubs have been interested. The Real Valladolid right back is expected to be at the centre of a transfer tussle this summer. Arsenal are in a four-way fight to sign Real Valladolid right back Ivan Fresnadar this summer. Borussia Dortmund, Juventus and Newcastle are also chasing the 18-year-old who has excelled in Spain this season. Fresnadar was the subject of intense interest in January, but eventually decided to stay at Real Valladolid. The right back will sit down with his reps at the end of the season, and his reps were in London to talk with Arsenal and other clubs in Jan and assess his options ahead of a possible move. Arsenal have been scouting Fresnadar and will continue to monitor him for the rest of the season. Clubs from across Europe have been impressed by his development, but Arsenal, Dortmund, Juventus and Newcastle are currently the four front runners. He has a release clause of 26.5 million in his contract, and Real Valladolid will hope to spark a bidding war, which means they can get close to that amount. Arsenal shifted away from their recruitment model in January by bringing in 28-year-old Leandro Trossard and 31-year-old Jorginho, but the club are continuing to scout young talent worldwide. Mikel Arteta has Benjamin White and Tomiyasu as his right-back options, but Fresnadar is regarded as one of the most promising players in Europe. The teenager could have pushed for a move during the January transfer window, but staying at Valladolid has ensured he continues to get regular game time. Can't get onto him for that. Arsenal given major contract boost ahead of Leicester City clash. I mean, we know El Nene signed a new deal, big him up for that. Who could Arsenal get in the Europa League? That would be interesting to know, because I don't actually know, really. Apparently, Arsenal will discover their Europa League round of 16 opponents on Friday, so I guess we'll do a watch-along for that. The draw for the round of 16 takes place at 11 a.m. on Friday. Mikel Arteta's side will be playing away in the first leg because they topped their group in autumn, prevailing against Zurich, Bodo/Grint of Norway and runners-up PSV. They will face the winner of one of the 8 ongoing playoffs between the unseeded sides who finished second in their Europa League group and sides who came third in the Champions League group. Who could they face? Union Berlin or Ajax, Barcelona if they beat Manchester United, Nantes or Juventus, Midtjylland or Sporting, Rennes or Shakhtar, Bayern Leverkusen or Monaco. We could meet PSV again or Sevilla, Roma with Jose Mourinho, and they did win the Conference League last year, or Red Bull Salzburg. Respectfully, Union Berlin quickly, or Midtjylland. Hopefully Midtjylland dump out Sporting, Nantes dump out Juventus, Rennes dump out Shakhtar. Back our chances against Monaco, but Leverkusen have been poor this season, so either one really. Sevilla, they got a history with the Europa League, PSV thing. And hopefully Roma go out because Jose knows how to do this thing. Apparently the first and second legs will be played on March the 9th and 16th respectively, people. So we'll have to see how that develops. We've already seen this with Hoijlund. So that's a myth. What's this? Gunners want right back Chelsea sold for 5 million. According to Ben Jacobs in Court of Side, Mikel Arteta's Arsenal and Pep Guardiola, I think they mean Pep Guardiola's City, want to sign Southampton right back Tino Livermento. Quality player, I'm having it. The only thing I could say is injuries. Both our fullbacks in Tomiyasu and Tierney are touch and go where injuries are concerned. And how much would Southampton want for him, people? Apparently Chelsea have a buyback option and they're not expected to do it. And Arsenal have been linked with Livermento before. Livermento is another intriguing option who has had horrific luck with injuries. The 20-year-old was magnificent last season until he picked up a serious ACL injury against Brighton last April and recently suffered another setback this January when returning with the Saints' B team. Chelsea have a buyback option active in 2023, but it's not thought they'll activate it, especially now Gusto has signed from Lyon, and all suitors will obviously have doubts given his, long spell on the sidelines. But Livermento will be monitored when fit with a view to a possible move over the next 2 to 3 windows by both Arsenal and City. So it's not nothing immediate. And if he hadn't suffered his injury, he may already be at one of those 2 clubs already, which is true. If he stays fit, he's a baller, man. You just hope the 20-year-old gets a clean run, man. Once again, Arsenal lead Premier League rivals in race to sign Declan Rice after further encouragement behind the scenes. His precarious contract situation means West Ham are only likely to be able to command a fee of 70 to 80 million. Sources with an understanding of Declan Rice's situation have revealed Arsenal are in sustained contacts with the player's reps ahead of a summer deal and are willing to hand him a long-term contract worth in excess of 200 grand a week. People, 200k, better yet. So draw of that what you will. On the topic with Declan Rice, allegedly he's agreed terms with Arsenal ahead of a summer switch. So if we've agreed terms, we just need to agree a fee with West Ham. Declan Rice will join Arsenal at the end of the season with a 5-year deal agreed between the Gunners and the England international. This is just reiterating everything. Rice is said to be desperate to join the Gunners at the end of the current season with his desire to play Champions League football as well as his respect for Mikel Arteta, the key reasons behind his decision. We'll have to see. He's got 12 months remaining on his deal. They do have an option of another year, but that does kind of slow down their negotiating hand, people. Arsenal were in love. Sporting director says 89 million player decided not to join the Gunners. Well, you keep playing like this, you're doing us a favour, really. According to Sona, the decision to choose Chelsea over Arsenal was Mudrik's to make, stating the player opted to join the Blues because they paid him what he wanted. Fair enough, man. Pump faked in that. Regarding the transfer proposal, the price was 100 million, 89 million, 70 million euros plus 30. Arsenal were in love with Mudryk, but Chelsea were more concrete and were more ready to buy him. With respect to Arsenal, in the end, it was the decision of Mudryk to make because Chelsea paid him what he wants, and he said he wants to go to Chelsea. It's simple. Fair enough, man. Man said, don't worry about Mudryk. You'll enjoy watching him. This is 35% of Mudryk. He's not playing well. The coach at Chelsea now is not in a good mood, and they're not playing well, but they need time. Mudryk will be okay. Don't worry. Hopefully never. Once again, Arsenal are reportedly leading the race to sign Declan Rice. What has Dean Jones said? Arsenal still perhaps slightly ahead of Chelsea simply because of their league position and how advanced their project is comparative to Chelsea. Rice, I'm told, would quite like to stay in London. So Chelsea and Arsenal makes sense. An opportunity there compared to, say, Man United or even Newcastle United. I don't think he goes Newcastle, but who knows? They've got an exciting project. Jamie Carragher has praised the Napoli guy, Kvaratskhelia, as the most exciting player in Europe. He missed a penalty the other day, but other than that, he's going to cost a lot of money, and he cost 10 million. Where was Arsenal and everyone else? Yesterday, you all saw Mohamed El Nene extended his contract with Arsenal until June 2024. People, he's currently out with a knee injury. According to Mark Bryans, apparently he said, worth noting, El Nene's new 1-year deal has been signed and the club hasn't triggered the option as was initially discussed. Understand a drop in wage is part of the agreement, with El Nene more than happy to sign on fresh terms. So saving a bit of bob. Arsenal agree early deal as Mikel Arteta's side are front runners to beat Newcastle and Barcelona to sign in. Arsenal are reportedly well placed to sign Yuri Telemans, who is set to be out of contract at the end of the season. Okay. Football Insider reporting that Arsenal are well placed to agree on an early deal for Telemans in the coming months. Barcelona, Newcastle are interested in him, people. We'll have to see. Jacobs has said Yuri Telemans is also expected to leave Leicester this summer on a free transfer, barring a U-turn on signing a new deal. Leicester would love to keep him, but Telemans has been clear for over a year he doesn't want to extend. Arsenal still haven't ruled out signing him on a free transfer. They're reluctant to pay a transfer fee over the past 2 windows, but now the Belgian midfielder is a bargain. Newcastle also really like Telemans, and United are one to watch as well. I reckon he ends up at United, really, because they've got Ericsson, Casemiro. Who else is really certy there in midfield? Telemans could assert himself there, and playing under Ten Hag could be attractive as Mikel Arteta's Arsenal. And some reports say Juventus are onto him as well. For what it's worth, Vlahovic, the agent, blocked a move to Man United. I don't care about that. What's this got to do with Arsenal? Ashley Fatty likes us. What's this? Arsenal are also keeping tabs on Manchester City midfielder Ilkay Gundogan, who is set to move on at the end of his contract this summer. Fair enough. Whatever that is. Kieran Tierney's windfall for Celtic shrinks as Newcastle prepare Arsenal transfer escape route. Once again, Newcastle have a 15% sell-on clause, so selling him for 30 million don't really make sense because we owe Celtic bread. I don't care about what Hudson-Odoi's got to say. I don't know what that's there. I must have been laughing. Apparently, Matt Turner's been told to leave Arsenal this summer by Brad Friedel. Don't Brad Friedel work for Spurs? Crazy. And so is Pulisic, for what it's worth. I mean, Turner's not an idiot. You know your second choice to Ramsdale unless a miracle happens. I think that no matter what, even though Arsenal are an incredible club, has to find consistent football somewhere. This season, fine. But if he's not going to be the number one, he has to go. The only issue is that he's on a long-term contract. And if you're Arsenal, why would you let him go? You've got an incredible goalkeeper, an incredible guy, a great worker. You have one of the best number twos on the planet. Well, there you have it. You know, if he forces his hand, then fair enough. Apparently, we've still been linked with Rabiot, if you lot believe any of that, folks, as well. What is this? Apparently, Arsenal linked Inter Milan forward Lautaro Martinez is interested in a move to the Premier League this summer, says Peter Rook. So that's just not Arsenal, allegedly. But apparently, Football Insiders reported that Arsenal has revived their interest in the Argentina international Martinez ahead of the summer transfer window. Inter Milan are experiencing financial struggles at the moment and could be tempted to sell one of their prized assets for around 70 to 80 million to prospective bidders. The Gunners have already had contact with his entourage. We did one in before, and the player is said to be keen on moving to either Arsenal or indeed another elite Premier League side, despite having a contract at the San Siro until June 2026. Chelsea and Manchester United also believed to be keen on his services, potentially creating a transfer tug of war for his signature ahead of next season. So we'll have to see exactly how that develops, people. But it is what it is. Let me go over here. Change that. Let's see what goal.com transfer thingy is saying. Seeing that with Telemans, we know El Nene has signed a new deal already, folks. Arsenal keeping tabs on Hoijlund. Forgive me for mispronunciation. Multiple Serie A clubs are interested in Balogun. First, it was multiple Prem teams. I mean, everyone's going to be alerted to a young man with that currently, rightly or wrongly, is behind Jesus and Nketiah in Arsenal's pecking order, contracted until 2025. So within the next 12 to 18 months, decision has to be made. And he's scoring goals and doing the business. Of course, a lot of people. But for what it's worth, a Spanish outlet reporting on a British player playing in France, fair enough, about Italian clubs. It said AC Milan, Napoli, Inter Milan, and Lazio are all interested in making a move. I mean, boy, Napoli, if you got that Osman, you know, and that KK, and you know, Balogun knocks some price off that, then we can talk. Big him up for scoring 15 goals in 23 games, people. Arsenal leading the race for Telemans. We've seen that. Tierney to decide his future at the end of the season. Arsenal are to provide 200k a week to Declan Rice, and we're leading the race to sign him. Manchester City are joining the race to sign Declan Rice. We're looking at Wahi of Montpellier, probably just scouting. Several Prem teams to go after Balogun, as we just said there. Newcastle, as we know, have an interest in Tierney. Allegedly, Arsenal are the favourites to sign Denzel Dumfries. Apart from us wanting the right back, I don't buy that. We've been linked with Jesper Limstrong again. We all know that we've been linked with Marcos Asensio and Victor Rug, who's playing over there in Brazil. We love Rashford, but that just seems like nonsense. So let's not get into that. And with that, that seems to be all of what the tabloids have to say today, people. Smash the like button if you haven't done such already. What are you guys saying? Don't forget, people, at 7:50, we're watching Leipzig City and Man United Barcelona, obviously on Thursday, people. And then on Saturday, we're watching Leicester Arsenal. Make sure you've turned on your notifications, you're smashing the like button, you're subscribing and all of that good stuff, people. Appreciative to you lot who have done that. So yeah, man, what else are you lot saying? Left you lot out. Need that sort of big man striker. Nice to see when we switch it up some games with Jesus on the left or something when needed. Not massively relevant, but Lookman has been balling out this season for Atalanta. Appreciate you, Stylish. As he said, let's get to 100 likes. The transition from Partey Xhaka has to start happening this summer. You realize Union Berlin have been challenging for the title this season. Yeah, but bring them. I want that. Bravo, if we don't get Rice after all this talk. I mean, we've been here before. If you don't get Rice, get something else. Just don't. I don't want to be waffling in September. We won't sign Rice. I'll be shocked if Edu can pull it off. Have some faith. I would take Livermento if we offloaded Ainsley / Tavares. John Fries is good, but a myth looks better in a back three, man. And he just looks a bit bandooly. Yes, DG, your show with Muamba yesterday was incredible and had my belly laughing. You guys going to do more of them, was great chemistry. Yeah, I mean, both of us are a bit surprised by the positive reception, man. So, yeah, we'll get that cooking, James. Appreciate you for watching that and always supporting the content, man. Arsenal should sell Xhaka, who's performed at his best. Let's move on. With the Champions League, as much as I want to sign other players, I'm a bit wary, especially, you know, getting rid of the El Nenes, the Xhakas, the Parteys. Not that we're getting rid of Jorginho, but contracted until 2024. We're going to need that experience. While for the large part, we've done this youth thing in the Premier League, and we need to keep doing it. in Europe, we do need experience because Champions League is another ball game. You know, there's been, you know, a couple of games and a couple of rough edges in our games. It will be exposed in Europe. And I do think we need experienced players. Experience doesn't have to be through age, and you actually have to be a good player, which I feel the names are. But I think we have to be a bit wary. Where can we buy a right wing to compete with Saka? Not a clue, man. If we don't get Rice, then get Pasta instead. We're saying as long as you get carbohydrates, you're all right. I hear it, man. Oh, man. Don't think Arsenal will get Rice, but be more than happy with Zubamendi. So with that, I think he's really good. And he's got a release clause. So you activate that release clause, get it done. Apparently, he wants to move to the Prem. So just get it done, really. Get it done, get it done, get it done. Just get someone, really. As long as Arteta is, you know, knows how they're going to improve and how they can be utilized and all of that stuff, get it done, man. Simple as that. Just get it done. Why wouldn't you want to? Man said Bundesliga tax. But yeah, I'd like Declan Rice, and I don't necessarily want to say preferred, but I really, 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 really like Zubamendi, and I think he's more of my sort of midfielder. Like, he's not like Rodri, but he's one of them cultural Spanish kind of midfielders. I prefer them kind of guys a lot more, really. I think he's got a lot more about him on the football than Declan Rice. And he doesn't look it, but, you know, his pressing stats, his aerial duels, and all of those things, statistically, they're a lot better than what meets the eye, man. Zubamendi would just get it done, man. Just get it done. But I'm sure Mikel's got a plan, and if he ain't got a plan, well, he can have all the plans. He can have all the plans he wants. You know, Edu's got to go out there and get the players, really. So hopefully Edu is able to do that, people. If not, we move in it, really. But on that note, though, people, you know, we've been here for just shy of 90 minutes. First things first, thank you for your support, your super chats, your conversations, your talking points, your objectiveness. You know, you're hitting the like button and all of those things. It's a pleasure to be here with you lot across Twitch and YouTube day in, day out. Pretty sure you lot are bored of hearing my voice now. I'm back at 4:30 Twitch gang, and I'm back at 7:50 to watch the Champions League with you lot, people. Watch along business. So, yeah, man, you lot stay blessed, stay safe. With it being the halfway point of the week, hope you lot are doing well with your own personal goals, dreams, ambitions, and aspirations are concerned. Hope you and your loved ones stay in continued good health, man. I'll see you lot all again soon and shortly, man.
There's always just that active red flag defending. I think it's like there's always just that active red flag defending.